or more players with double-digit home runs, and that includes Kayla Green, that includes Lenny Malkin, and they went back-to-back to just give Arkansas what I felt like at point in the game, just some extra mojo, some extra energy. For sure, a couple of runs feels really good right now when LSU is threatening last inning.
Those home runs came against Shelby Sinceri, who after the Green home run gave way to Allie Kilponen, who has faced 6 batters, retired all 6. When you combine that with the 16 in a row that she retired to end game 1 of this doubleheader, 22 straight retired by the sophomore, throwing hard in the circle for LSU.
Yeah, it's so impressive. I mean, you're going up against one of the best power hitting teams in terms of hitting the ball out of the ballpark in the entire country. They're just
fiscal year of 2022 to 125,000. And so the president has said many times that this is going
really good eye and plate discipline at the plate. They're 3rd in the nation in walks. That's their MO. Walks, power, home run ability with basically anybody in the lineup.
Little check swing, and getting the out is Kilponen on the first one down as Gibson is retired. Here is Malkin. Her home run was her 16th of the season. Solo shot led off the 3rd inning. She was hit by a pitch in the first. Fouls it off for strike 1. Malkin with the 16 home runs, 38 runs batted in, having a tremendous season. Ahead in the count, 2-1. Courtney Deifel said that Malkin came up to her and said, "Coach, I finally know what I'm doing. I'm relaxing and swinging," which was probably the message from day 1 when she got to Fayetteville, but sometimes it takes a little while. And the junior has found her swing this year.
And Coach Deifel just said, you know, she's just exhaled this year, and the team goes with her. One of the leaders on this team, of course, she's having a tremendous year in terms of her home run power. Hit more home runs this season than in her first 3 seasons combined.
Can't get this one. Kilponen gets a strikeout. That's her 3rd.
So at this point, has Kilponen thrown a no-hitter or a perfect game against Arkansas in basically 2 different games? Can that count for something? Kilponen just spinning it. So much movement on that rise ball. We have 2 great rise ball pitchers pitching right now in this game with Mary Half for Arkansas and Allie Kilponen for LSU.
Well, that's 24 in a row when you bring it back to game 1 of the doubleheader. So the answer is yes. If it only counted that way. You pitchers are always looking. You know, I pitched that perfect game that one time when I was at Texas A&M. Well, it was spread out over a couple of games, Amanda. I don't care. I don't care.
Okay, now that we're talking about it, it might have been the entire weekend that it was a perfect game, but whatever. Semantics.
Ahead in the count 0-2 to Kayla Green. Arkansas left the bases loaded in the first and again in the second, scored just 1 run in those first 2 innings. Back-to-back homers put the Razorbacks on top 3-0. LSU getting a run back in the 4th, chasing Autumn Storms. Mary Half now facing Kilponen. The matchup from game 1. This one's going to drop into left field, and Kayla Green finally gets on base against Kilponen.
It's a way to make something out of a 2-strike count there. Coach Deifel told us about Kayla Green that she's just really proud of her because the season didn't necessarily start for Kayla Green how she probably would have wanted it to up at the plate. And she's been able to turn things around and still stay on course.
Here's Monzo. Fouls it off for strike one. She's 0 for 2 today. So Kilponen had retired 8 in a row in this game. Add that to the 16 in a row that she closed out game one of the doubleheader with. 24 straight were set down by the sophomore before the hit by Green. Monzo hits it well to left center field. Gets down and goes all the way to the wall. Green around third, trying to get to the plate, and she does so, sliding in safely to put Arkansas on top 4-1. Allie Monzo with a clutch 2-out double.
Bottom of the lineup, getting it done for Arkansas with 2 outs. Gets a pitch up in the zone, and she's expecting it, so she just gets her barrel up to that pitch and drives it the other way. Kayla Green, good base running, good turns when she was rounding the bases and being able to score to get back that run that they had given up to LSU earlier in the game.
Certainly helps with 2 outs that she's going on contact, and the catcher found her top gear to get home in time to stretch the lead back out to 3. Cesenia comes on to run for Monzo. I'll find down the count 0-2. Kilponen gets the strikeout, but Arkansas with back-to-back hits with 2 down gets the run back. 4-1 Razorbacks after 4.5.
Support your favorite college at Fanatics.com. The largest
Summary as LSU gets ready to come to the plate here in the 5th inning. Arkansas with a run in the first, 2 in the third, and 1 in the 5th. LSU got their run in the last inning, thanks to a Pleasance double, which was followed by a Doyle RBI single. Autumn Storms got the start, went 3 2/3, gave up 4 hits, didn't walk anyone. And Mary Haff now on in relief. Third pitcher of the night for LSU is Allie Kilponen, who finally gave up a run after allowing a couple of base runners. So we'll see what Haff is able to do here facing LSU for the 3rd consecutive game. Larissa Sestania stays in the game and plays in right field. This one is thrown on the first for the first out as Cummins is retired.
You know, when you're out there on the field and you start to get late in the game, you just start to count down the number of outs, especially I feel like we did this at Super Regionals, but all right, we have 9 outs till we win this game, 8 outs till we win this game, 7 outs till we win this game, and you just chip away 1 out at a time, still 1 pitch at a time, but you can't help but think about it, understanding what's at stake if you win this game.
Taylor Tidwell takes ball 1. Two 2-0. Tidwell grounded to third, facing Autumn Storms back in the 3rd. Two and 1. Count evens up at 2-2 to Tidwell, hitting with 1 out here in the 5th inning. LSU will host Auburn to wrap up the regular season next weekend. As we've mentioned, Arkansas closing out the regular season here tonight. Three-two pitch to Tidwell. Well, Tidwell did a good job to lay off that rise ball, and that turns the lineup over to the dangerous Aaliyah Andrews, who should have been on base twice here today. Singled in the first and was called out on a ground out in the 3rd inning.
It was a good at bat by Tidwell to take some pitches that were up in the zone, understand how Half was going to work her with that rise ball or a low rise. That couple of close pitches that she took to be able to draw that walk that Half was trying to find on the inner corner.
Second time that Tidwell has walked facing Mary Half in this series. And it's ball 1 to Andrews. 5 hits in the series for the senior. Throwing back behind the runner, and Tidwell dives in safely.
Love that pickoff opportunity there by Kayla Green. She got rid of that ball so fast down to first base. I actually thought there's a chance that they were going to get Tidwell. She was a little bit further off first base.
Two and 1 the count to Andrews. Off speed, grounded to third. They get the lead runner Tidwell. No chance for the double play with the speed of Andrews. 2 down. So on Amanda's countdown clock, it's now down to 7. 7 outs for Arkansas. Here's Briggs.
You know, Eric, love the fact that fans can be at these games so much because I just can't help but sit and watch from the center field view when we take these pitches and notice just 4 or 5 young girls back behind the plate just taking in the game. One girl looks like she's taken in with her dad. She's sitting in his lap, and it's just like those are the moments and the experiences that we just missed out so much on this past year that we used to take for granted, right? Going to a game with your dad, with your team, or maybe they had a practice earlier and all came to the game together, wearing your uniform to the game, and just so cool. I mean, look at these young girls back behind the plate, just cheering, having a good time together, just spending time as a family, or pitting your friend with the claw, whatever that is.
The giant tiger claw.
I mean, just, you can do whatever you want at the ballpark, you know?
Fouled off by Briggs. It's 2-2.
Maybe catch a foul ball. It's just seeing that little girl and her dad, he was talking to her probably about the game or the situation or the pitcher. Watch this, watch that. It's just so good to see again.
Two-two pitch to Sierra Briggs. Up high, and the count's full 3-2. Well, I think we'll all agree there's not much we'll take for granted anymore after going through all this for the past year. Certainly looking forward to being in Tuscaloosa. And then NCAA tournament time, as you mentioned. The mayhem is here, and Mary Half is here. And the countdown's now down to 6 outs for Arkansas.
She can put this rise ball on different levels. So young girls, whether you are in Baton Rouge watching or watching on TV, take note of Half's rise ball.
Every customer has their own Safelite story. This couple was on a camping trip when their windshield got a chip. They drove to Safelite for a same-day repair. And with their insurance, it was no cost to them.
Really?
That's service you can trust.
Safelite Repair, Safelite Replace.
Hey, Frank, our workers' comp.
Arkansas on top of LSU 4-1 as we head to the 6th. Eric Fried, Amanda Scarborough. Our producer is Seth Miller, keeping us in line. Well, I'll just speak for myself. Amanda is high maintenance sometimes, but she's been on her best behavior thanks to Seth. If the tournament started today, Amanda, here are your matchups. This weekend ends the regular season. Florida will host Texas A&M. Alabama hosting Ole Miss. LSU hosting Auburn. Georgia's at Mississippi State. Missouri's at Tennessee, and Kentucky hosting South Carolina. As I mentioned, Wednesday we got a midweek doubleheader. Tennessee at Mississippi State in a COVID-19 makeup. So that's how it looked now. We'll see how it looks come Monday when we get ready to head to Tuscaloosa.
Yeah, did you see the 6 next to Ole Miss's name, who was picked to finish last in the SEC at the beginning of the season? Ooh, what a turnaround for them. Or maybe not a turnaround, but prove them wrong.
It's been outstanding. They've won 6 of the last 7. They're coming off a sweep of 24th ranked UCF. 33 wins now on the season. A bunt right back to the pitcher. And that's the first out of the 6th inning as Torres is retired. We talked earlier about Florida's come from behind victory at Mizzou to win the series thanks to the Hannah Adams 3-run home run. Alabama swept Georgia this past weekend. Kaylee Tao had 6 hits in the series. Bama's won 7 in a row. I love the Monday night games because you can kind of reflect and look ahead, but Alabama's a team that had been through a lot with some key players injured, and they are finding ways to find that rhythm yet again as McEwen is retired in the line drive to Doyle, 2 down.
It's so impressive what you're talking about with Alabama just working around those injuries, and it's just quietly doing it because they don't skip a beat. Bailey Dowling, their stud freshman, goes down, who was leading their team in home runs and RBI. She tears her ACL. Starting second baseman, okay, well, that's one injury that happens to us. Claire Jenkins, our starting shortstop, goes down. Okay, that's another injury that's happened to us. So they've been through these injuries, as well as not having Lexi Kilfoyle in the circle for the past few weeks because of a more day-to-day nagging injury. We don't know when we're going to be able to see her, but those are all major injuries for them. They've been able to work around.
Burnside with a fly ball to right field. An easy inning for Kilponen. 5.5 complete at LSU. 4-1 Razorbacks.
Feel like you're winning.
Coming up for LSU, Pleasance, Clark, and Doyle. LSU scoring in the 4th. Mary Half kept them scoreless in the 5th as she heads out to work another inning for Arkansas. Half went the distance on Saturday night, 7 innings. 6 innings in Game 2 of the series earlier today. And now trying to bounce back with a victory which would give Arkansas a regular season title in the SEC. It's a title that Florida could get a part of if Arkansas wins here today and Florida sweeps Texas A&M. Both Arkansas and Florida would finish atop the standings in the SEC. Here is the first pitch from Half, and it's in there for strike 1 to Pleasance.
Well, and again, thanks to that comeback win by Florida and that home run by Hannah Adams, just what a moment in their season that kept them alive to be able to get in on an SEC championship. And now they're kind of in the driver's seat in a sense that it's in their hands and not somebody else's hands, trying to claim a share.
Pleasance line drive, another well-hit ball by the freshman, but this time it's into the glove of McEwen for the first out of the 6th. We talked about it at the very top of the telecast too, Amanda, just kind of the journey for Arkansas this season. 2020 in the shortened year, they were 19-6 and came out right from the very start this year, especially in SEC play, going 12-0 at the start of the season. And just doing it with the power, with the home runs. It's something that Courtney Deifel's team has continued to add on to. They have 2 more home runs here tonight for a total of 89 now on the season. After getting 1 hit in game 1 of the doubleheader here today, and in 2 games in the Missouri series, just getting 2 hits in each of those games, you start to wonder and you start to think, is it tightening up for Arkansas? Are the bats going to be silenced here late in the season? But those back-to-back home runs really took off some of the pressure you can feel in this game. And after LSU got the run, Arkansas got a run back to keep it at a 3-run game in support of half.
Well, and it's a
string to make it 2-2.
It's a skill to know how to play with that pressure, with those expectations, and it just doesn't happen easily. It happens when you build a program that has the winning ways, like a Florida, like Alabama. When
that's blooped into left center field, and it'll drop in for a 1-out single for Georgia Clark, her first hit of the series.
But the recruits and the players, they see the teams in front of them be able to win those close games, be able to know how to win championships, know what it takes at practice, know what it takes in the locker room and in the team meetings. They know how to do everything in their culture to win a championship. And for Arkansas, it's never been done before. So they're trying to be the ones to figure out how to play with that pressure and play with the expectations and still come away with it and not lose it, not have it in your hand and then just let it slip away.
Your attention, please. Bench running at first for LSU, number 84, Carrington Hushmanzada.
So pinch runner for Clark after the 1-out single. Carrington Hushmanzada will come on to run. Here's Doyle. Takes ball 1. Doyle drove in the LSU run in the 4th inning. She's 1 for 2 tonight. Line drive into the glove and looking for the double play, and the ball gets away from Gibson. It looked like Hushmanzada had gotten a hand back in there, but 2 down after Gamble almost got the DP.
Yeah, it's definitely the definition of the hot corner. A line drive right back at her face. She gets her glove up, and not only does she get it up, she's able to catch it, trying to turn that double play that Danielle Gibson couldn't hold on to, but I think she would have been there anyway.
Ball 1 to Gutierrez. She singled her last time, 1 for 2. One and 1. Two and 1. Two and 2 to Gutierrez. Swung on, hit well to center field, and reaching out and making a tremendous catch is Torres to retire the side.
More defense in this series, and coming up when it really matters, Sam Torres laying out, robbing LSU of extra bases and runs.
Some people are born with it, and others they work so hard. It's in our blood. Yeah, it's in our blood. Ooh, it's in our blood. We can't quit because it's in our blood.
Back in the top of the third with solo home runs. That would give them 3. And then Ali Monzo would come up and get herself an RBI to score Kayla Green. Get 4 runs for Arkansas that they've scored in this game and have made so many great defensive catches and plays, including this one just happened. Sam Torres, a center fielder, laying out just a championship type performance that we're seeing in all facets of the game for Arkansas.
Really started in the first inning of game 1 of this series for Courtney Deifel's team. Georgia Clark was at the plate for LSU, had a bloop back into shallow right field, and Keely Huffine, the second baseman, sprinted out an over-the-shoulder catch. Real fine play, established the tone defensively for Arkansas, and Torres put a star on that one, robbing Gutierrez of extra bases. Gamble, Gibson, Malkin for Arkansas in the 7th.
You know, and they really are chasing history, Eric, with trying to win that first SEC regular season championship. But it's been more than just about this year for Arkansas. It's been about Courtney Deifel entering this program and making such an impact with her and her coaching staff to not just impact this program, but turn around this program. Going from losing SEC records to 500 SEC records in back-to-back years for the first time since 2000 whenever she came in.
This one is lifted into foul ground and into the bullpen, out of play.
To then putting yourself in a position to win the SEC, and it's taken a few years, but every year has been better than the one before.
1 win, 23 losses in conference play in her first year at Arkansas in 2016.
Wow.
This one's hit to straightaway center field. Andrews puts it away for the first out.
And I think what's been impressive about this weekend in particular is that they've done it without Braxton Burnside and majority of the time without Danielle Gibson. You know, they're 2 50-plus RBI hitters in their lineup. Braxton has been quiet, and Danielle Gibson has that one sacrifice fly RBI that, you know, you could argue if the wind wasn't blowing in, could have been a grand slam, but it still goes down as 1 RBI. They've been quiet, and other players have been able to step up around them to produce the runs.
This one is lifted to right field. Gibson is put away for out number 2.
I mean,
Yeah,
even
Burnside
think about
0 for 3 tonight with a hit by pitch. Amanda, just to finish your point there.
Yeah.
Now 0 for 8 in the series, but it's not just Braxton Burnside. There's been the other pieces of the lineup. They stretch that lineup out a little bit. That's going to be important going into postseason play.
Well, you're exactly right. And think about how Arkansas won game 1, 1-0. Pinch hitter, senior Ryan Jackson came in and was the one who got the RBI.
Maybe that's one of those moments where you know it's your season, because Ryan Jackson was 2 for 21 with runners in scoring position and 0 for 3 this season as a pinch hitter. When Courtney Deifel sent her up there with 1 out in the 7th. Her single scored pinch runner, Callie Kildow. Kildow had tagged up, moved on to second base on a pop-up behind the plate. So some of those supporting castmates playing starring roles here in this series.
Even Ali Monzo hitting out of the 7th spot, being the one that got an RBI today. which, by the way, was only her 5th RBI of the entire season.
Alonso had the 2-out double in the 5th inning that scored Green to plate the 4th run for Arkansas. And it's 2-out walk to Lindy Malkin. Well, they'll bring up Green against Kilponen. She broke up the string of 24 in a row retired by Allie Kilponen with her single in the 5th, and as I mentioned, scored on the double by Monzo. With a win here tonight, Arkansas clinches at least a share of the SEC regular season championship. If Arkansas wins here tonight, Florida still has the door open. They would have to sweep Texas A&M, but if the Gators did that, they too would have a piece of the SEC regular season title. Green pops it up and out of play. Kildow running for Malkin at first. And 0-1 the count to Kayla Green. 2 for 2 tonight. Homered in the 3rd, singled and scored in the 5th. This one is a fly ball in the left field, put away by Savannah Stewart to retire the side. Arkansas 3 outs away from clinching at least a share. 4-1 heading to the bottom of the 7th.
SEC fans, gear up and
3 outs away from clinching at least a share of the SEC title. Would be their first in school history. Florida still with an opportunity to match Arkansas atop the SEC standings. But the Razorbacks, the story right now, can they do it? Can they get the final 3 outs here on the road at a place where they have had so much difficulty through the years in Baton Rouge? Before this series, they had lost 17 in a row in Baton Rouge. Hadn't won since 2005. The team they have struggled with, but perhaps fitting that Arkansas has a chance to be a title holder for the first time in the SEC by knocking off one of the teams that they've had so much trouble against through the years. Stewart with a fly ball to left field. It's McEwen. 1 down.
Well, we've talked so much about their offense coming into this series, but to be a championship team, you've got to play great defense. And Arkansas has not made an error this entire series. They've been there for their pitchers. They've made the plays that they need to make. They've made the outstanding plays that maybe sometimes you make, sometimes you don't. But they've been so solid this weekend in some low-scoring games, too, whenever their team has needed them the most.
Here's Morgan Cummins. Autumn Storms got the start for Arkansas when 3 2/3 gave up 4 hits and a run. Mary Half appearing for the 3rd time this series. 2nd time today in relief. She's given up a hit and a walk. She's retired 8 of the 10 batters she's faced. Cummins 0 for 2 tonight. Popped up. Green runs out of room. Mary Half with 41 pitches in relief of Storms. Another 1-2 to Cummins. We'll do it again.
Eric, we talked about Alabama going through some adversity in terms of injuries and being able to come out on the other side of that. But Arkansas has had their challenges this season, too, with injuries and not ever really having a consistent lineup. And they've still been able to put out a consistent, solid product out on the field week in and week out with that motto, who we have is who we need.
Cummins battling here with one down in the 7th. We mentioned Autumn Storms missing time as of late. Daniel Gibson missed time with a concussion. Off speed, Half gets the strikeout, 2 down. The countdown now down to 1 out for Arkansas. Here's Taylor Tidwell.
Do you think they're going to dogpile or no dogpile? What's your guess here?
Courtney Deifel's just going to keep calling pitches. And you just need to keep calling pitches and then let it happen after that. One strike away. They say she checked her swing. I wonder where the pitch was. It's 1-2.
Man.
I think Courtney Deifel's wondering where that pitch was.
Fake out.
One ball, 2 strikes, 2 down in the 7th.
Little amped up there, overthrowing a rise ball just a little bit.
Well, remember how game 1 ended. Half struck out the side for Arkansas to close out that complete game victory.
She shook off
Now
that
resetting.
pitch. Nope. Whatever she called, she didn't want it. She wants this one right here.
Tidwell has worked the count full. Called strike 3. It's over. From 1 win 5 years ago to number 1 in the SEC in 2021, the Razorbacks have their first SEC championship.
This upcoming Friday, May 7th, as the Tigers host Auburn at 5:30 p.m. Keep up with the latest information by following LSU softball on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Have a great evening, everyone. And as always, go Tigers!